And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved.
Our time has come. For 300 years, we prepared. We grew stronger. While you rested in your cradle of power.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Famous words by Kelly Sue DeConnick, creator of the modern Captain Marvel. That's what she's pretty much most famous for. She created Captain Marvel, the low-selling comic book that's been kind of DOA the 12 times they've rebooted the book. 12 times or so they've rebooted that character. Nobody cares about Captain Marvel. Nobody ever will, at least in comic books. This has been the way that comics have been running for the past couple of years. They don't give a damn about you. They've pretty much thrown their main audience out the window. We don't need you guys anymore. If you stick around, great, but we don't really give a damn about you. Which has led to books like New Warriors here and Children of the Atom, another turd. America Chavez, another turd they're bringing back out. And then we, of course, have the collapse of the comic book industry right now. The comic book industry was always going to collapse. This is a fact. I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but it was always going to collapse. When you put out books like New Warriors that people don't want, you tell your main core audience to get the hell out, you're going to have problems. You're also not, picking up younger readers. You're not replacing the ones that are leaving. It creates a problem. And it's been a slow growing problem, and it's going to get worse. Everything that's going on right now has accelerated it. Never before has it been on display how much these people don't give a damn either. I did a video the other day going over what they're talking about. You think a lot of them would be talking about the end of the comic book industry and how it's, going out the window. But no, even the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, he's sitting there stuffing his face and typing away about how you should save food stores in New York. He gives more of a damn about his favorite Subway sandwich shops than he does his own industry. And that's not just him. A lot of other pros are talking about the Orange Man, because that's way worse than their livelihoods going out the door. These people don't give a damn about comic books, and they never did. They also don't give a damn about you, because like I've always said, it's not, am I good enough for you to be a fan? No, are you good enough to be my fan? A very entitled industry is what this is. And I'm going to go over some highlights, I think, some of the big things these people have said over the past couple of years, so you can get an idea of just how terrible these people are. By the way, some of them are arguing about going digital only. Look, I don't care what platform. A turd is still a turd, so I don't care what platform you put it on. Comics are done. You think $4 digital books are going to be a booming hit? No, I'm sorry. Manga has pretty much just taken over the industry. And I know that there is still a love for comics. You can see that in Comicsgate. People rush to support those books. Look at manga. The fact that My Hero Academia is pretty much the top franchise in manga right now and in anime tells me that people still want comic book heroes. They just don't want yours. They don't want Western books. They don't give a damn about Western books. And the sales show that. So going digital only, that's not going to save comic books. That's not going to help anything. If the comic book industry collapses, because don't forget, Diamond isn't distributing comics anymore. DC has turned their printers off. I don't know what Marvel has done. They're probably going to stockpile all of their shit and then send it to people in droves when they open back up. Here's a truckload of garbage. Good luck selling them. Stuff like this. I had a thumbnail of the pregnant Spider-Woman the other day. That wasn't an isolated incident, by the way. Here's a Nova Corps woman who's pregnant, where the villain is more concerned about her baby than she is, almost like the baby doesn't exist. The only one dying here is you. You're pregnant. Oh, you're observant. This is insane. Withdraw immediately, woman. And then she shoots him and says, make me. And then, the next panel is her crying in a hospital because her baby got lost in the fight. But of course, this is the kind of garbage that Marvel puts out. And if you complain about this, well, you're an istaphobe. And this is why stuff like New Warriors, I'm really kind of surprised it got so much traction, because it's nothing new. Of course, you're in an industry where people have said things like this. Whatever hill you choose to die on is your business. I'll stay on the one that's located on the correct side of history. This is a comic pro who's drummed up a lot of trash. Her recent target, Sean Gordon Murphy, who is the writer and artist of Batman White Knight, which is actually a pretty good series. She went to cancel him again the other day. And this is never going to stop. It's always, am I on the right side of history? You know who's making those arguments. This is why they're always complaining about Trump and Orange Man and all this stuff, and why they call people that vote for him and people that just lean to the right any kind of like Islamophobic thing. They don't want you as fans. And they make it very, very clear, as you're going to see. So we're going to go over some tweets of comic book professionals. These are kind of like a greatest hits of their attitude over the past couple of years, and why I just don't really feel too bad for them, because they've made the mess and now they're sitting in it. Don't be fooled, because now they're coming around trying to act like they, love you and they want your business and they want ceasefires and truces. No.
My offer is this. Nothing.
Instead, I want to just remind everybody just how terrible all of you are and the things that you've said to fans. So here's another one. This is the original writer of America, the book that's getting relaunched, that dropped to 6,000 shipped units, by the way. Here's something that she had to say to everybody. Anyone else feeling triggered AF at the mere sight presence of white dudes, solo, but especially in groups? The panic and threat level is too real. Wow, that sure is a very welcoming message to one of your main demographics. Let's move on to this one. Here's a comic book professional with views on Batman. There should be a superhero whose power is white privilege. Oh, wait, that's Batman. Oh, what a hot take. Here's that same writer. By the way, this is the creator of Vagrant Queen, launching on Sci-Fi, I think in 2 days. She wrote the comic book, didn't sell very well. Didn't sell for shit, actually. It only sold like a couple hundred units, but that's okay. Get to show as Sci-Fi. What else does this person say? Oh, here's another hot take. I am done with this. So F you. F cis a-holes. F your BS. Get ready for a baseball bat to the teeth.
What a story, Mark.
Am I the only one who finds it ironic that colonizers are profiting off the Black Panther fan art? Things that make you go, Just saying, if you watch the movie, what are you putting back into the community and not just into your pocket? And of course, one of my favorites had to go to Comics Matter video for this one because I can't find the screenshot. This was the writer of Moon Knight, also a singer for a group I've never heard of. I think it's a one and done old teen band. But this was a really famous tweet where it says, by the way, if you are looking for SJW undertones in Moon Knight, they're not there. That being said, I effing hate you personally. Then he went on to talk about how he wished he had a piece so that he could use it on people to make them eat his rear end. That's a real tweet. I would have to dig around to find it. It's there. If you want it, I can find it and post it on Twitter, but it's real. He did say that, and he actually faced no consequences for that. People questioned CB Cebulski about it. He said, we talked about it, and we talked to Max, and he's trying to put that rock star life behind him. So you're allowed to say, I hate you personally to people that read your book. You'll face no repercussions from the editor-in-chief or people at Marvel. Then there's the classics. So this is actually a really big one. I could almost do another video on this article alone. So this is Alana Smith. She's a Marvel editor. John Malin, who's been on the channel several times, if you don't know who that is, used to work at Marvel, used to draw Cable. He was fired for speaking his mind about a couple of things. And notably, his editor, who gave him a lot of trouble, Alana Smith, right here. Here's some stuff that she took to Twitter to say a while ago. We have it locked right here. Make no mistake, even if Trump loses, we will remember who supported him. We're taking out the American dream tonight. We're showing the world that fear and hate are our guiding principles. I hope you're happy. And so on and so on. The big thing here is the power that this woman has at Marvel. There's a reason that a lot of people that are conservative are quiet about it in comics. Because if you lean that way, these people will kick you out. This is why there's no stories in comics right now that have a conservative leaning. It's all liberal leaning. All of it. And you can make the argument comics have always been that way. They haven't really. Not in the way that they are now. This comic books right now is super, super far left. There's no middle ground, nothing. In fact, if you want to have middle ground, you can't, because you're not allowed to have any kind of thinking that they have. Because make no mistake, they're going to remember who supported him and what happened that year. You saw a lot of people that leaned to the right kicked out of comic books, which pretty much led to the foundation of Comicsgate in many ways with stuff like this. Then let's not forget when all of them targeted Stan Lee when he passed away, right after he passed away. Let's not forget about that. Current Marvel Comics writer here. Okay, this is someone working at Marvel. In fact, she got fired after she said these things. She went back and deleted these tweets, by the way, after she got hired. Let's take a look at what she had to say here. And don't forget, because what is this? So this is all over the allegation that Stan Lee, was patting his nurse's butt or something. Dude's like 90 years old, falling apart. That doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and destroy and cancel him because of this. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff. Here's this deleted tweet. F Stan Lee. So what if he's dead? He's still a racist thief and an appropriator of culture, just like that jerk Cebulski. If I ever work at Marvel, I'll tear down as much of Stan Lee's so-called legacy as possible. She deleted that tweet, by the way, because she ended up getting hired by CB Cebulski after she said stuff like this. Come on over, girl. Doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want. And then she goes and puts this out, saying that it was fake. This was real. It's been confirmed because there's actually replies to it and stuff like that. No one archived it was the problem. Nobody archived it. But there are replies and there are likes to it. So I just find that funny. Hey, go ahead and say this about the creator of comic books. That's okay. We still want you because you got the right way of thinking. He's an appropriator? Come on over. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. I love it. And then, of course, Ta-Nehisi Coates, current writer of Captain America. Look at this headline. Ta-Nehisi Coates, who called 911 responders menaces of nature. This is from his book, by the way. Very famous book that he wrote, his memoirs or whatever. I actually did a video on the passage that he made a long time ago where he talked about how he remembered that fateful day where he stood on a rooftop and thought about, how all the smoke was in the air and the fire and brimstone and how he thought that the country deserved it and that people that are rushing to help the people in the rubble, well, they're not even human. They're trash. Hey, come on over. That's the right way of thinking. We want you to write Captain America, which is why I won't support that book. Because I don't like this man, because I think he's a piece of garbage because of the things that he said. And the fact that anyone defends that is disgusting to me. But this is the right way of thinking to get into the comic book industry. They'll give you whatever book you want. You said the people that responded first that day are pieces of trash. Come on over. Marvel Comics is the place for you. Then we got a G.I. Joe writer who said about some of the same things, blamed the fans for the things he said. He would never let that go. He actually ended up getting fired for what he said. And he said some nasty things. This was on September 11th. This is the anniversary of that event. He said, "Oh, good at self-centered national tragedy remembrance from people who weren't even anywhere near New York City Day. Doesn't understand that was a day that the nation mourned. But it's all about him." Ended up saying F you to the people that wanted to mourn. Pretty disgusting. I'll go ahead and, you can pause it and read it for yourself if you want. But the man said disgusting things. And yeah, it's not far from a comic book pro to talk like that. And this is the kind of thinking that infests the comic book industry. Head over to Dan Slott. This is a more recent one where he says, F you if you voted a certain way. We don't want you buying our books. We don't need you. We don't want you. This administration is not on top of this emergency. They're ignoring or contradicting their own experts. People are done. And he's golfing at his resort again and profiting off of it. I'm not saying F you for voting for him. I'm saying F you if you vote for him again. Right. Excellent customer service, Dan Slott. You are a proud example of what this industry has become. There's so much more. This video would be 3 hours long, 4 or 5 hours long if I really sat down and went through everything. This was kind of a greatest hits, really, of some of the stuff that's happened, kind of the thoughts of these people, their ideologies, the way they think, the way the industry has gone. I wanted to kind of do a highlights video. I really didn't know how to put this together because there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to talk about, really, when it comes to comic books and comic book pros. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was informative, and I hope you got to see the kind of people that have ran this industry into the ground, because it's always been about ideology and politics. It's never been about creativity. It's never been about putting a good story together. It's always been about agenda, at least for the past 5 or 6 years. That's all that's mattered in the comic book industry. It hasn't been about sales, hasn't been about money, it hasn't been about story, it's been about agenda. And this is part of the reason why comic book shops have accelerated in their closure. There's a lot of other factors. Sure, price, how many comics are being put out, so on and so on. All that factors into. But at the core of this is the quality of the stories. And frankly, a lot of them have just been dog shit. And the pros in this industry, they have their priorities in the wrong place, and this is the result of it. Yeah, you can blame the current situation of the world for the acceleration of it, but it was always going to fall. The comic book industry has been doomed to fail for years, and it's just coming to a head right now. And these people, they don't care. They've never cared. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Give me your thoughts. What do you guys think about all this? I'd like to hear what you have to say about everything. Share the video. Throw a like up. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.